Well, good morning, everybody. Um, how are you doing, first of all? This is the Space Junkie Takeover. As usual, we take over this channel on Mondays, and we come to this show with a heavy heart this time around because we had a tough week last week, and I think we have quite a few things to talk about with my partner in crime, David. How are you, David?
Hello, everyone. Yeah, we are back again, but not Peter back. Yes, on one hand, we are happy for the booster catching, but on the other hand, we are very sad for the ship destroying or ship loss.
Mm, mm.
But
Yeah,
of course, we will talk about the Flight 8 mostly this show.
yeah. Obviously, we will cover everything, or we will cover the important bits that we find important. And we are a Hungarian channel, and we made some videos related to Flight 8 and the structural problems and all the unfolding issues that's seeing the daylight. But first and foremost, if you have any questions in the chat, please tell us. Tell us how you feel, how you find Flight 8, and what your observations and opinion about it. Do you think that SpaceX is heading towards the right direction? They are doing, they are conducting the whole program in a way that's constructive, or you think they are stumbling and they have kind of lost their way in some sense, because there are all kinds of opinions swirling in the internet, and we just don't know exactly what's going on. But let's see what we do know is that there was an incredibly nice launch on yeah, in our time that was Friday,
It was
right?
Friday already, yes.
Yeah. So at half past midnight,
Hmm.
that was a successful launch, and everything went really smoothly. I mean, we were
Hmm.
so hopeful. There were some occurrences during the ascent phase, namely two of the Raptor engines didn't relight at the boost back burn, but we've
But it
seen
was a
this with the
descending phase already, so the ascending phase was totally normal.
yeah. Well, technically it was still ascending, but yeah, you're right.
Okay. Okay, then let's say until the stage step.
Yes, that's correct. So two of the Raptor engines they didn't relight, but we've seen with the previous flight that that doesn't mean that they are screwed. So they never gonna relight again, and we were kind of right because one of them did relight. So at the end, only 12 engines were on and one was out. So they reduced the number of faulty engines from two to one, and it had no impact on landing. So that was good to see, and the booster, it just did such an epic job, to be honest.
Yeah, and we were quite eagerly seeing that how actually the hot staging ring will do its job, because just turning back the pages a bit, that previously, so before the second attempt, there were some quite strange happenings. So small or let's they weren't so much trouble or mistakes or failures, but first, when they after they have finished, of course, the checking works, and they have restacked the ship, they have just destroyed or hurt one of the hostaging ring clamp. And after it, they have just lost some skates on the chopsticks. So there were some strange happenings, and that's we what we couldn't see previously. And with these signs, SpaceX turned to the second attempt, and yeah, thanks God that everything was nominal, as John Spracker would say it. And yeah, that's why we were quite happy that during the ascending phase and the hot staging and stage sep was everything normal. And yeah, these Raptor reignitions or not reignitions were not so surprisingly or surprised, but we can see finally that even with the 11 or 12 Raptors, the booster can still do its job, and it's nice to see because it means that the other engines can have the let's say the replacements with the wrong engines in it. It's quite nice. And during the catching attempt, it was quite strange to see again that the chopsticks were just moved a bit to the left. So they weren't in the middle or normal position, but somehow the booster came back just a little bit off nominal descending trajectory. I will send it. I will pronounce it one time finally. So the chopsticks had to do some corrections, but they have done it, and it's quite nice to see again that they can be still reliable, and they can just how to say live with the booster together.
Mm. I really like these these moments when obviously this is the Boozbeck burn.
Hmm.
I will go fast forward. This is going to be a key moment here because after the launch, we came back to this point, and everyone can see how clean this scene is. So we can see the aft bit of the ship, the second stage, and everything seems all right, apart from the fact that we can see some mag diamonds, and some people were pointing out that we should not be seeing mag diamonds. I don't know if it's normal or not. I've seen some comments related to that, but again, tell us if you know more than we do. But I don't know how normal that you at that level, at like over 100 kilometers, so that they are already in space. You see here, you can see a mag diamond. But some people say that the vacuum engines they pushing in so much that that's why they are created.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
that's an atmospheric vision, or I don't know.
Strange. Anyway, and then the hot staging ring just put up such a show. That was
Yeah.
so nice. I mean, I don't know for how long can we enjoy the hot staging separation, because with the Block 2 boosters, they're not going to have a separate hot staging ring, right? That's gonna be
Yes.
integrated to the booster. So let's enjoy it while we can.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I guess we will miss this vision or these pictures, or how
view.
to say
View, yeah,
view. Yeah.
camera view. I mean, look at this. This is one of the best shots of.
Hmm.
I mean, seemingly they are so close to each other. I think in real life they are not that close. It's just the angle
Yeah, of
of the
course.
two objects, and then again, perfect, perfect camera views from SpaceX. I really like their work. Their work. I mean, this is just stunning. I mean, look, you could see some fine details on the hot staging ring. So, yeah, incredible. And for 40 kilometers above
Hmm.
the ground, and it's screaming back. Soon we're gonna start heating. So this is methane, right? That's coming out, or this is oxygen.
It's oxygen, so it's the let's say the preparations of the Raptor light phase.
Because I've heard that, you see, this is when it starts glowing, and
Hmm.
this is fuel burning in there, isn't it? Trapped fuel.
Of
It's not
course,
just the air.
but normally it should be not oxygen but oxygen because it's gaseous, so it's
Gaseous.
gaseous. Yeah,
Hmm.
but it's
Yeah.
this glowing off section. It's
Ah,
totally incredible. So
yeah. I don't know what the Raptor 3 version off section gonna look like at this point, but this is incredible. And then one engine didn't come back, the other one recovered, and I think they came back in a more, how can I say, in a less conservative sort of way. You can
mhm.
see that this is less sort of moving sideways and
Yeah.
going in between the arms. It's more like more directly coming down. And some, according to some people, they try to preserve the service tower and the OLM, so less toasty,
Hmm.
probably.
Yeah, maybe they have tried out something different, and it was intentional. So
Mm-hmm.
it and correction from myself that maybe it wasn't off nominal, but it was another test, and that's why
Oops, not this one.
if they are more confident, then why don't do it?
Sorry, I keep on showing the wrong videos. Just give me 1 second because there is a Y footage of the landing, and I am 100% sure that I saved it, and I'm not sure I found it. It's just there is some. Yeah, this is it. Yeah. So look, as it comes back and lands, just look how the whole chopsticks. Yeah, we can see what you mentioned that they had to correct
Yeah.
their position, but look what happens once it's landed. It just moves quickly towards the left, or it looks like it's pretty quick. Look, this one, this
Yes.
movement. I
That's
don't
This
think
last
that,
correction is quite strange or interesting.
but is it moving off the OLM or onto the OLM? Because
It's
it's
hard to tell from this angle, but I think
uh-huh.
it's uh, it's not to our direction from this point of view. So it's from us.
Yeah, I was just so surprised when I saw this footage that it just quickly just
Hmm.
whoop, moves quite significantly towards the left or
Hmm.
away from us.
Yes,
Um,
I guess it's away from us from this angle,
yeah, definitely,
because
definitely.
if you see, then it's positioning to the left. That means
Well, away from us.
it's
Yeah,
away
to
from
its
us.
left. Yeah, 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 yeah. Anyway, it's just a weird one because I have not seen this at the. I mean, yeah. Well, now I've seen it. Look here. Uh huh. This is where it moves. Look
Yeah,
the background. Look,
it's left. Yeah, we
yeah,
can be 100% sure that it's turning to the left.
yeah. Look at the background through the chopsticks. Come on, did I
Hmm.
go back that much? Did I go back that much? Maybe I did.
Ah,
Sorry.
never mind.
Yeah, here you can see the back. Yeah, probably I'm taking too much. Look, it's already the
Hmm.
background is moving. Yeah, okay. I just didn't notice it during the
Yeah, there
live.
are so many details that we can't see everything from
Yeah,
on the first time.
yeah. So this is where when all hell broke loose, because this is where, I mean, in our stream we were so hopeful. We were like, okay, we didn't notice the problems with the engines at flight 7, so this time around, okay, booster caught, wonderful, let's focus on on the second stage. And we were like, lovely. At the background you can see the launch. I think this is the plume of the launch. And what we didn't notice, well, we did a little bit, this smoke in here.
And the
That was
fire
already a clue.
fire around
We did
the
not we did not notice the fire. We noticed the
really.
no. I mean, but we did notice in
I
our
thought
stream
so.
the smoke on in the center engines.
Yeah.
But I said, maybe I'm just seeing things that's not there. It's just, it's something that just probably is normal, and there's nothing wrong with that. And then a couple of seconds later,
Unleash Hell button was pushed.
yeah, here. I
Yeah,
mean, this
that
is this
was.
is at this moment we knew that
I
this
guess
is
that was the moment when vacuum raptor and one center raptor was just gone, was just blew up.
two, two actually.
Yeah,
Um, yeah. So one
two
outer
center.
engine and two inner engines.
Yes, yes, correct. Yeah.
Boom, and then it joins one more inner
So
engine.
half of the engine section was gone in just 1 second. They were
Yeah,
blew up.
yeah, yeah. Weird stuff. People say that this is the sloshing, while the reason why the fuel level goes up and down. Obviously, it never goes up. So that's just
Yeah, of course it's because the sensor just collecting wrong data
yeah,
because of the rolling
slosh.
motion.
But a lot of people say that there is some sloshing in there going on. So the
Yeah,
fuel
but the
is going.
sloshing is because of the rolling.
Yeah,
movement.
yeah. But it's strange because I was thinking about it. If it's just tumbling without the engine on, I don't think there should be some sloshing. But because the engines are still on, two of them, I think it's creating such a motion. It's not just. I have a good video about this. I'll show you in 1 second. Because kudos to space engineer. The space engineer, follow him on X or on YouTube. Because if I start it, so this is when. So very quickly, you will see very important thing. It's not just the engines are off, but actually off of the ship as well because they broke off.
Yeah.
Like, which is mad. I mean, I think that those fire we see when it's just before it starts spinning, I think that's when the one outer engine and one inner engine just broke off, like what you saw, which
Yeah.
is just wow.
So you can see these rolling motion or tumbling it are on more axles. So not only the
Axis.
horizontal,
Hmm.
so not the long
Axis.
axis, sorry, but on every axis, and that's why I guess that's because of that generates the sloshing motion as well
Hmm.
in
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
inside the tanks.
Yeah, yeah. Um, we raised the question immediately that why.
Just one more sentence about it that we can see. Of course, it's only a theory, but you can see from this motion that all of the aft section, or I mean, sorry, the dome was destroyed, and that's why because that's maybe that's why the Raptors were just removed, or um, they just gone because of the aft section or the aft dome was destroyed. So not the engines blew up themselves, but you can see the half of the dome is missing,
Hmm. Hmm.
and
Hmm.
that's why they just detached from the Starship.
Detached. Yeah.
Detached, yeah.
Um, um, so that's the point now when the loss of signal and there are some incredible
Mhm.
footages from the ground. So I had the question immediately in myself that why on earth? I mean, this is like the Starship galaxy, um, which is yeah, it's such a view. So I had a question in me that why those two vacuum engines were not turned off. Why? So either they could not turn it off, or they were gathering some data. I don't know how far they could push. I mean, again, we try to learn and analyze the people's comments as well, because there are so many experts all over the planet when these kind of things happen. And some people said that the engines, these two vacuum engines, even they are on, they could not push the ship out of its corridor.
Mhm.
They're not powerful enough to push the ship outside of that safety corridor. I don't know, to be honest. Um,
Maybe that's the
if
point because we still haven't heard about any info or read any info about debris damage on the
Mhm,
ground. So maybe that
mhm.
shows that the ship was still on the right corridor, and that's why the automatic flight termination system wasn't activated.
Hmm. Hmm. Strangely, at some point, we can hear in the live stream that FTS has saved, which means that it was not in action.
Hmm.
But then, most likely, it's been activated. But anyway, for me is just a bit weird. Either they just want to collect as much information about the vehicle, and that's why they don't shut it down, because they know that these two engines, just because they are on, they still can't really do much damage. Sorry, change of direction.
Hmm.
So it won't push it outside the safety zone. But in the same time, I don't know, in the future, if they lost the connection or the control of the engines, they definitely need to look at it, because in the future that can do some harm if they don't have the control of the ship. Anyway,
But I guess
again.
there are margins and quite strict margins
Mhm.
built in, let's say, in the system. So if the FTS system would see that, okay, it's totally wrong, even
Mhm.
for our eyes it's totally wrong, maybe for the FTS it's still on track.
Yep. 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 So again, spectacular views, which we.
Unfortunately spectacular, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's not good, and at this point we could not enjoy it at all,
Hmm.
because we knew exactly that this is not gonna be a long stream again, and we're not gonna see much again. I mean, that gentleman here in the upper corner, he will see that not many people saw at that moment. Oh yeah, just right there. Look, this is the moment. Boom, that's it.
Yeah.
History. So not a good place to be at all. And we kind of saw some information related to what happened. And it's a very bleak view that what's going on with this Block 2 version. We're gonna have some diagrams from Ring Watchers. Please follow them. They do incredible job. And it's all related to these harmonic vibrations or harmonic oscillation, which seems to be a mega big problem with this particular
Hmm.
generation of ship. It's not
It's a
nice.
design, design failure, unfortunately. So it's not a minor problem, but
Exactly.
quite a major problem.
Exactly. So we saw them that they had an almost a minute long static fire with ship 34, and they tried to find some hardware and software solution to sort of prevent this oscillation, this vibration building up during the ascent phase. The huge problem, you can see that this is the block one version. This is one main downcomer, and then the methane comes to every single vacuum Raptor engines in a separate tube or piping. And then with the Block 2 version, then they broke away from this design, and now they are using three separate tubes. One is just covered by the main down cover, but trust us, it's three. And and now that's the problem. According to Scott Manley, these pipes, these three individual pipes, they might act like strings on a guitar. If when the tank is full, so this is the Sorry, I can draw, do a nice drawing, but this is the LOX tank. So this is the LOX tank here.
It's
This is the
beautiful.
methane. Yes, I know. Thank you. Something like this. And as long as the oxygen tank is full, it sort of dampens the vibration of these tubes. But as soon as the level of the oxygen in the tank is depleting, then this vibration is getting stronger and stronger. And at the end, they start acting like strings on guitars, and they start shaking like crazy.
Hmm.
And that's having such an effect on the whole system. And we were hoping, I mean, this was a known issue. They successfully replicated it during that 56-second long
Mhm.
static fire test with the ship 34 second stage. And I think they were kind of convinced that they tackled the issue. But since we heard that the team was a little bit rushed with
Yeah,
this.
and actually during these 56 seconds, they have tried different throttle levels and different designs or setups. So it wasn't, of course, from our eyes outside, it looked like totally the same in the whole time. But they have tried different throttle levels,
Mhm.
and it didn't work. Unfortunately, didn't work, unfortunately. And yeah, that's a good angle, because we can see actually there are four tubes. So there is a middle Um, um,
The red one.
the red one, it's for the three center engines, and there are three in a narrow angle. Let's say it's for the three vacuum engines separately. Just we can't see from this position, or yeah, we
Oh,
can
we
see
can. We
we
can.
can see the
Mhm.
three separate methane downcomers for the Raptor vacuum engines, and these are much more narrow, like the center red one, and that's why they have to withstand much more force because
Mhm.
of the oxygen tank pressure is coming from everywhere.
Mhm.
And yeah, the long and narrow tubes are maybe not the best solutions, or we don't know, of course, because they are only the tubes, and we don't know whether they are structural, let's say, support systems or support tubes which are connecting with the inner wall, inner side of the tank, because with this maybe they could withstand even bigger forces. But of course we haven't seen any official photos about the inside of the tank, so that's only the opinion, because when S33 was built or constructed, we could see the downcomers only before they were built in, and that's why we don't know whether there are some improvements to make it even um, more reliable.
Mhm. There's a question in the chat from, hey everyone, from Julian Castro and from France, and he's saying they have pogo effect with Raptor to have this kind of vibration. As I am no expert at all, what I heard on other channels and other from other people is that what is a fact is that there are all kinds of vibrations, and pogo vibration is one. So hold on. So not every harmonic vibration is a pogo vibration, but every pogo vibration is a harmonic vibration or oscillation. So harmonic oscillation is like a bulkier sort of um, occurrence or type of vibration that can happen in systems. It's like when you have a washing machine or on a car, you have the shock absorbers, or certain machines that which has like spinning parts, and then it can get to some sort of resonation or oscillation that it starts damaging the hardware itself.
Mhm.
One good I found one good example. There used to be, so there were some tragedies in the past when soldiers were marching through a bridge, and if now these days it's not allowed, because when soldiers are marching through a bridge, they sort of doing this rhythmic sort of marching, and it starts vibrating the whole bridge, and it did collapse in the past a couple of times, and then obviously the people found out that this is not allowed, because it will damage and the bridge, and it collapses. So soldiers these days, they're not allowed to march through bridges. So there is one sort of vibration, if it occurs on a system, that it can start damaging the system itself. And that's what's happening, and that's why the conclusion is that the whole design of the block 2 version of the ship is not good. It's flawed. It's
And
the
yeah,
worst outcome we can hear, to be honest.
and unfortunately we arrived to the other main problem, the capacity or the ability to to let's say to check these kind of forces on the ground. But because of Messi's outpost or Messi's test site is the sort of capacity and the infrastructure of the test site is not enough for have or for conducting a full duration static fire, even with full trust, then it's a big problem, because they can't just collect the relevant info. So with even if they have done these 56 seconds, it's quite sure that they couldn't have it with full thrust of Raptors because the test send couldn't withstand it, and that's a big problem. That of course we don't know why, but we have some ideas because of the clamps or because of the whole construction of these tests, and it's not strong enough to withstand these forces when all of the six Raptors would have the full throttle for about 6 minutes, because when the ship just the fuel is just going out, so it's burnt up. The forces of the clamps are totally different in the entire phase of time, and that's why at the massive test site they couldn't do static fires for the full duration, and that's a big problem. So there were theories that they could just return to the high how to say it in English? This
High
10 or 12
altitude test
high
flight.
altitude, yes, high altitude test flights in even with the second stages only. So without the booster, just send to the ships and collect data with it. And there are theories that it would be a good solution. On the other side, with the nice eyes or nice, they say that they couldn't do it because they couldn't collect the relevant info either, because these high altitude tests are totally different, like a suborbital flight, because of the different velocities, because of the different forces coming from the atmospheric pressure or everything like that. So yeah, we have
Um,
yeah, there are so many question marks that of course we couldn't be clever enough to judge what would be the best solution.
we discussed it before the show with David, and to be fair, there are some pros and cons on bringing back these high altitude flight tests. There were just some comments from other people, so nobody smarter than us actually talked about this. But the way it could work is if they would just launch a second stage, a ship, and just deplete the tanks and go as far as possible, and it will crash
Mm.
somewhere around the Caribbeans, or even maybe before that. But I was just thinking that when the ship it does the staging and it goes, it's already in vacuum, so I don't know if it makes much difference if it goes with, I don't know, with 20,000 kilometers per hour or 26,000 kilometers or 15,000. It's going in vacuum, so it's no such, the inner bits are shaking, not the effect is not from the outside, it's from the inside, and probably that would help. In that minute or minute and a half, it would get to what, 50, 60 kilometers. That's already thin atmosphere, and then they could start replicating the issues. Because what you sent me previously, a documentation about the fact that during that 1 minute firing on Massey's, from the 1,500 metric tons of fuel and oxidizer, there was still 1,100 in the tanks.
Mhm.
So, because it's a fine balance with how the clamps, how much the clamps can, I mean, how much of a metric ton the clamps can hold down. So what kind of throttle they can work against, and also the weight of the article
Mhm.
of the ship, fully fueled, and still there is a balance. So by the time it would deplete the tanks, the clamps they're just not strong enough at
Mhm.
Massey's to hold down the ship, and that is a big problem. That's why they don't have the capability of doing a full duration test flight with the ship. And that 1 minute is, it looks like it's not enough to actually replicate the full effect of this design. Or or how to tackle the problem, or I don't know. It just feels. I'm sure they will find the way to tackle it. They have before, and we have trust in the company and the engineers. But it's just a painful experience what we've seen, because I think everybody expected that this is going to get done perfectly, and Flight 9, let's go to orbit. And this is now God knows
Mhm.
how far away, because now they need to, I mean, and on top of it, what's going on at Messi's? Can we have a live view of Messi's? Is it possible? Because look at this. I mean,
Yeah, actually, we can see
this-
the potential potential main role players for the Flight 9. So the booster
it would not
16.
be it would not be SpaceX if both of the article would not be on the test site.
Yeah, so the S35 was just rolled out today, this morning, and it's totally surprised because we just we could have just thought that okay, S35 will be not demolished but heavily changed or modified, and just look at it, it's out at the masses, and of course it has not the Raptor engines yet, so it was rolled out for doing the first cryo tests. But yeah, the question is why? Because of course structurally it's totally the same or mostly the same, um, like S33 or S34. So this in this short of time, this short phase of time, they couldn't just make so big difference, so big modifications. So Flight 8 was just 3 days ago. So of course they couldn't just remove everything from the tank and just remove with new downcomers. So the question is why do they test like that, and why just collect data with a totally false design?
I think if there is one channel when this question stands perfectly, then this is why. Okay, that was a bad joke. I have an idea, and okay, I before the show I said I'm pessimistic, because there is no earthly way that they have done any modification with the ship 35. But what if they already knew that ship 34 is there's no modification. I
Is
think you
doomed.
suggested this, yes. Which I don't know if that's true, because they were working on it so hard. So if they know that it has a flawed inner structure, then why did they work on it so hard? But probably they knew that there wasn't much change on ship 34, and they were focusing already on ship 35, and they've done some modifications and
Hmm.
what we don't know about, and probably that's why they kind of pushing it forward.
Yeah, it's
When
hard to tell.
Yeah, when can this be launched? Because the problem is that from Flight 7, they have an ongoing investigation and a mishap investigation. And obviously from Flight 8, they have another one now. And I just don't see that FAA gonna say, "Yeah, guys, just launch it in a month time."
Of course not. No, 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 no. Unfortunately not. So we have to wait for the next flight. I don't want to um, guesstimate, but it's not in 2 weeks or 4 or 6 weeks, as Elon mentioned on X. So we can be sure that it won't be happening until, I don't know, until summer. But
I
I hope I'm wrong. But
Either we are completely blindfolded and we know nothing about the internal details, or it's just not gonna happen anytime soon.
yeah, what we have read, and we don't want to mention the source, but it's from a reliable person, I guess. So he wrote that that major modifications are needed, and even SpaceX can't do it in couple of weeks.
Mhm.
And when we just think about the um, the construction phase of the ships, so the Block 2 ships. So of course S-35 is ready in terms of the structure. The S-36 is under construction. We don't know in which phase is this prototype, and then S-37 and 38 are only in pieces yet. So maybe they have just pushed or hit the brake now, the brake pedal now, and just redesigned this whole downcomer section. And that's why it's quite strange that S-35 is out there, and of course we don't know how this downcomer section or the entire oxygen tank section looks like. But I'm still sure that they couldn't do so big modifications, even if they knew it beforehand, the flight aid, that there is something wrong with the structure or the design. So I guess S-35 will be just doomed or demolished, and it won't fly. That's only my opinion. Or they have to wait until they just totally modify the entire inside section of the LOX tank,
Mhm.
and the maybe the aft section as well. In case of the S-36, maybe it's easier, but what we have read, then that is they have to just stand down and or stop the entire construction phase of every ships now currently, and they have to do the redesign with the downcomer section, and of course they have to, I guess, simulate it on computer simulations, and then they can build in the hardware first. So that's why I think we won't see any flights before summer, but we will see. So that's why I totally don't understand what's going on with S-35, what they want to do with it.
Mhm.
So but we will see, and that's why it's all the time exciting to see what SpaceX doing, because first, on one hand, we are very very lucky that we can see the everyday development of the Starship. On the other hand, it's quite shame that we can only see small details, and of course from outside, and we couldn't see inside to the LOX tank, for example, because it could be very very funny. How does it look like? And currently we have to be patient and see how SpaceX will be doing the things in the next couple of weeks.
Mhm.
But yeah, currently
Yeah.
the hardwares are out there.
If you can back the other screen, one thing we haven't shown yet in this particular live stream is this one. I mean, this is a big change compared to previous flights. I mean, just imagine, two engines were just gone. I don't know how they got this photo, who leaked it, or what's the source of it, but two engines just broke off. I mean, that's kind of unheard of. I don't know what
Maybe it's three
happened
engines, not two.
in flight.
Two center and one vacuum, isn't it?
No, no,
Because then we can't see the nozzles, two of the center engines, or maybe
no.
I'm
There
wrong.
is. Look, um, if I stop here, this is one and this is two. As far as I know,
Hmm. Okay.
one of each just broke off. Yep.
Hmm.
Which is not great at all.
Of
I
course
think
not.
you see there is one here and there is one
Yeah,
here,
yes. Hmm.
and we can't see the third one because the third vacuum, because it's just not in the view.
And the
Um,
green light isn't a good good sign
no,
at all.
no, that's
Because
an
it means an
engine rich
engine rich engine rich
turn.
combustion. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure that what was going on with Flight 7 when one engine was out and the first, I think one outer engine, one vacuum engine gone off, and then they said that the whole problem was originated from a vacuum engine,
Mhm.
but I don't think that any of the engines broke off. So this kind of, you know, I mean, damage or explosion, that's just that's just a sign of a huge problem. And I have this photo here. Just give me a sec. So, no, not this one. There is one bit just before it breaks off. It's actually one of the Raptor engine is glowing.
Mhm.
You will see here. You see, it's
Yeah,
glowing.
it shouldn't glow.
No, 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 no. It's not the sun hitting it. No, no, no. It's glowing. So, according to the sources, again, the regenerative cooling when it was non-existent on the vacuum engine, that's when it blew off. Because then, if the cooling is off, then that's it. There's no way you can control the actual burn of an engine. Yeah. So, yeah, we will see what's going on. It's not a pretty picture, but probably I don't know how much of a topic or what kind of things we can talk about in the future. But I mean, in the next weeks, because we can't predict that what they gonna do next. Maybe we can a little bit because at least there is some construction. What can you do when you cannot build starships? Let's demolish some stuff.
Yeah, the balance should have still
Yeah.
existing or
You
remain.
either, yeah, you either building or breaking.
Yeah. Yeah, so the view of the Starbase, at least the production side, will change quite soon because, as we mentioned in the previous episodes, the Gigabay, or yeah, sort of Gigabay, will be built here, and you can see the base of the Gigabay if the ground the base of the Gigabay will be like that. But that means, of course, the high bay will be gone, the Stargate will be gone, and maybe the one small part of the existing Star Factory will be gone as well,
Mhm.
and maybe the fate of the of the parking lot, which is of course the famous building of Sabi. Maybe it
Yes,
will be saved, so it
yes.
won't be damaged. It won't be demolished, but it will be a huge building, and it will totally change the view of the whole production site.
It's seeing this. We don't know the origin. I will be absolutely honest because there is no watermark or logo on it. But okay, so where they gonna enter the base?
From above
No,
with a
serious.
helicopter or some. I know, of course, it's a joke.
Because this is the way in, right? If I would be a Mandalorian, I would say just this is the way. Uh, um, so this is how they. So
It
this
will be
is.
a drive-through, or I don't know.
Mm, well, yeah, but what's the point of that? That you have basically here a pathway in a mega bay. I don't think so. I think they will come in here
Or yeah,
or
they will still demolish the parking lot, and that will be the entrance, or I don't know, but
yeah. Well, this is widening this area. I don't know. That's probably a question for the future. But if this is gonna go ahead, then it's a good question.
yeah, but at least until there are no flights, we can see some demolishing and or deconstruction, and after it the groundbreaking of the Giga Bay, and then we can be sure how the base will look like.
Um. Okay. So there's a suggestion in the chat.
Okay.
which I don't know where it's originating from Israeli net. I think he's saying the oscillation originated from the loosely fitting satellites that were loaded in the pass dispenser, result of the violent vibrations and shaking of the dispenser and the explosion. Now, this is the first time I'm hearing this, and I'm
Me
not too
too.
sure if that has any foundation, to be honest.
Um,
The
I don't
the
think so.
the payload
There are
the
connection
payload
with the
is
payload.
up here. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
There are
the things were
there are
going on in here.
so many inner parts of the Starship that it couldn't have, or it can't have effect on the aft section.
As far as I know, all along the problem, even
And
with the
why
flight
just
7, is
just why
just
okay.
1 second, just that in this tube, as the force is going up and down, as as the pumps are actually sucking, I think, the fuel
Mhm.
from the engine, from the tanks.
From methane
That
tank, yeah.
Yeah, that's what's causing the problem.
Mhm.
Um,
And on the other hand, why would they loosely fitting? What's the point with it? So
no, it's probably an error. Probably it wasn't intentional, if that's true. Stephen Lewis is asking, did ship 34 or does ship 35 have the Raptor 3 thrust pack with Raptor 2 adapters?
I don't think so. No, the Raptor 3s are quite far from us now. So I mean, we don't know when they will be introduced, but maybe they won't be on any Block 2 version of ships. So they say there are rumor has it that the first Block 2 version of the Super Heavy will be the first Raptor 3 engines, and maybe there will be a generation change in case of the ships as well until they get the first Raptor 3 engines.
Hmm.
And on the other hand, there are so many different forces compared to the Raptor 2 and Raptor 3 engines. So, of course, yeah, the whole thrust pack will be changed, and maybe the whole fueling system has to be changed because the consumption of the Raptor 3 are even more, or of course, much higher rate than Raptor 2 because the Raptor 3 has even bigger thrust as Raptor 2, and that's why the consumption is, of course, as well bigger with a bigger chamber pressure. So that's why the ships has to withstand much bigger forces, like in case of Raptor 2s. So that's why maybe um, with this kind of design changes coming up with the Block 2 version ships, they won't they won't get any Raptor 3s until they can't solve this downcomer problem.
Hmm. Hmm.
And of course, we can't look into the details of the Block 3 versions of the ships because maybe the iteration will mean that this whole downcomer system will be totally changed. But currently, they have to test with the Block 2 versions because if they because we have seen in our community there were some ideas that okay they have to just skip the entire Block 2 generation and just let's go to the Block 3 version. But we just asking back why, because until they don't have the foundation for improve to the next generation, then why would they do it?
Hmm.
Just
Yeah.
and that was a good point from you, Sabi, that just think about the Falcon fleet or the Falcon iterations. They had the Block 5 when the Block 4 was totally correctly um,
Hmm.
operating. The Block 4 was
An
introduced when the
improvement.
block
Yeah.
so the improvements were done when the actual block version was totally reliable, and there was a linear improvement phase when they introduced the new blocks, when they had the exact and the correct data, and of course enough data. But currently they they don't have any data at all, or almost any data at all with the Block 2 version ships, and until they don't have the correct and relevant test data with the Block 2, they can't go to the Block 3. It doesn't make
Mhm.
any sense.
Absolutely. They need a very strong foundation they can build upon, because without that, it's just not gonna work. And yes, Falcon 9 is an absolutely good idea to follow, or a good example. Um, yeah, there was one thing you were mentioning that I wanted to reflect, but I forgot. Ah, damn it. Anyway,
What was about?
oh, I don't know. Yeah, probably to finish. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The problem is that the engineers they don't have proper data, flight worthy data from a block to, not from a flight nor from a test ground test.
Yeah.
None of them can they do at the moment. And if one of them would work, that they could proceed along, but they cannot, because they cannot test it either way or
Mhm.
neither way, and that is a massive problem at the moment. And I think this is what we going to see some huge improvement in the future. And just to end it on a happy note, we have some leaked photo of the Raptor 4 engines, and this is what it's going to look like. This is just a joke, obviously. There's no Raptor 4 at the moment. They are dealing with Raptor 3. Um,
Yeah.
Related to Raptor 3, there was a question
Yeah.
from my unwanted opinion. How far away are Raptor 3 flight worthy? By the end of the year, is some speculations were
A rumor
flying.
has it, yeah, and maybe
Uh-huh.
until at least at the end of this year, or maybe beginning of next year.
Hmm.
Yeah, it depends, because it depends on when the first Block 2 version of the Super Heavy will be used or introduced. So
Hmm.
they have currently three flight proven boosters, and maybe they will refly them. Maybe not all of them, but at least one. So there
Hmm.
are the booster 14, 15, or yeah, but the booster 12, but maybe booster 12 won't fly again. But
Hmm.
it's a big chance that at least one of the booster 14 or 15 booster will be refly. Then let's see when booster 16 will fly. What about booster 17? And rumor has it that's the last block one super heavy, and maybe the the booster 18 will be the first block 2 super heavy, and maybe that will be the first one which gets the Raptor 3 engines. But since we don't know about the plans of the reflies, or the reuse of these already flown boosters. That's why we can't be sure when the Raptor 3 engine will come. And about the ships, it's totally blind spot
Hmm.
from our side, of course.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, I propose an idea for SpaceX for free. So, what we talked about. So, I guess this is Messi's. Either this is Messi's or this is Messi's. I am not entirely sure. Is it number one or number two? What do you think?
It's hard to tell from this angle.
Anyway, it's number one.
Number
Okay,
one. Hmm.
thank you, Jonathan. So this is number one. So this is Messi's. So if they launch from here, let's say this direction. Nah, I'm trying. Okay, I'm not an artist. Let's say towards this direction, that way, right? So Starbase is not affected, hopefully. The launch site is not affected. Isla Blanca is that way. I don't think there is anything that way. So they
That
have the
way is
message.
Mexico.
Yes, that's. I mean, no built-up area. I think, or not too close. But what I'm trying to say in a very awkward way is that why they just don't do. Just somebody suggested in the chat. So Yeah. Let me just make this go away. So yeah, so from here, that direction, fly out towards the sea, burn out the engines. Let's see what happens. It's gonna
Poor
crash
turtles.
land. Yeah, just let's crash it in the ocean, like I don't know, 10 miles away, 20 miles away. It doesn't need to fly too far off. They can even fly upwards. I'm not suggesting that they should start doing a landing test as well or a catch test, but if they convert no, actually, rocket range is here. Yeah, it's somewhere here. Anyway, you know what I mean. So I think that would be a solution. They don't need to improve the Messi's test site massively and pour concrete and a larger flame trench, and things like that. And they could just go back to the high altitude flight tests, and they can get relevant data. Guys, what do you tell me? What do you think? Tell us. Probably it has more restraints and it's not that simple as I just explained here, but that's one way of probably, um, yeah, doing it, because otherwise they need to build a test stand here to launch it here, the launch site, and that's never gonna happen. I think there's no way.
If that would be the plan, I guess, and then we finish the show.
Hmm.
Maybe they had to ramp up the construction of the ships, because in this case they would have, or they should have, at least two or three separate ships for this kind of tests, but
Hmm.
they still don't have it.
Yep, that's true. No, just crash. No legs, Stephen Lewis. Just crash it in the ocean, just like they do with the booster.
Just launch it from the masses and goodbye,
Yeah, not it doesn't need to go like towards Florida or God
and just
knows.
splash it into the Gulf.
Yeah, just going upwards, maybe like 100 kilometers. I don't know how far a fully fueled ship would take a ship upwards, but just a bit out of the sea, and they can just do testing. Then they could see the interior sort of design changes without doing a whole full stack. Less fuel required, because I mean, with the full stack they need some juice. So yeah,
Hmm.
that's probably one of the limitations. All right. I do think that this is the end of our show. We sincerely hope that you enjoyed it. We try our best to sort of doing our analysis based on what the community is sharing day by day, but we might be wrong. Just tell us what you think in the comment section, and let's see how far we can go with the next programs, because apart from, I don't know, demolition of certain areas and probably pouring concrete or finishing the pad B, the next sort of launching test site or pad, and and whatnot, is just limited events gonna go on, because at the moment the production of the ship is on hold. Yeah, let's see. Let's hope that they have the solution and we just don't know about it, right?
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Hard to
We'll
tell
see
what's
you.
coming up.
Absolutely, absolutely. We'll see you next week, and or at some point. We don't know if next week gonna go ahead, but because there are some question marks. But at some point we will see you. And thanks for tuning in. It's always nice to take over for a Monday show. We see you soon. We see you soon. Take care and have a lovely week. Chat to you soon. Take care, guys.
All the best, guys, and see you next time. Bye bye.
Yeah. Bye bye. Ciao.